It began with laughter, the kind that makes the air cold and sharp. Inside the exclusive first-class lounge, a group of airline staff surrounded a woman whose presence demanded respect. Her name was Amara Williams, a black CEO who had just sealed a multi-million-dollar partnership with the airline. But to them, she wasn't a leader, just another passenger they thought they could ridicule. What happened next would not only destroy careers but shut down an entire airline. Because sometimes, one cruel joke is enough to expose everything. Watch until the end. This story will change how you see silence. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments. And make sure to subscribe for more powerful and inspiring stories just like this one. Amara Williams had built her empire from nothing. Growing up in a small town outside Nairobi, she had learned early that excellence wasn't just an option, it was survival. Every award, every contract, every handshake had come with whispers behind her back. She had grown used to being the only one, the only woman of color in the boardroom, the only one questioned at the front desk despite holding the highest ticket tier. Now, at 38, she was one of Africa's most respected businesswomen, leading a logistics company that partnered with airlines worldwide. Skystream Airlines was her latest ally, sleek, global, and desperate for her firm's transport network. Her trip to London was meant to finalize a deal that would take both companies to new heights. As her flight touched down, she felt a quiet pride. She had earned this. Yet as she walked into the VIP lounge, the air changed. The stares lingered longer. The smiles looked rehearsed. Something beneath the polished surface felt wrong, too quiet, too watchful, and within minutes, that unease would become humiliation she would never forget. The Skystream first-class lounge gleamed with white marble, soft lighting, and the scent of imported coffee. Amara placed her carry-on beside her and smiled politely at the attendants. "Welcome back, ma'am," one said, his tone dripping with the kind of politeness that isn't really polite. They offered her champagne, but their eyes told a different story. One attendant whispered something to another, and they both laughed. She ignored it. She had learned long ago that some battles weren't worth fighting, until one of them pointed to her braids. "Those must be heavy," he said with mock curiosity. Another added, "We have a spa service here. We could tidy that up for you." Their laughter was quick, nervous, cruel. Amara's jaw tightened. She stood, intending to leave, but as she turned, one male attendant, a tall man with a smirk that screamed privilege, held up a pair of clippers from a nearby grooming station. "Don't move," he joked. "Free trim for our VIPs." Before anyone could react, the buzzing sound filled the room, and with a swift motion, he snipped a lock of her braid. Silence. Then laughter. Real laughter this time, the kind that cuts through dignity like glass. Amara's hand flew to her head, her breath trembling. Around her, a few shocked passengers froze, unsure whether to intervene. One woman pulled out her phone and quietly recorded. For a moment, Amara couldn't speak. The humiliation burned deeper than the cut itself. In that instant, she saw not just the cruelty of individuals, but the system that allowed it. When she finally found her voice, it was steady, cold, and precise. "You've just destroyed more than you can imagine," she said, and then she walked out, calmly, gracefully carrying the broken braid in her hand like evidence. By the time she reached her car, she had already called her legal team. Within hours, Skystream's board of directors received an emergency email titled, "Immediate Contract Termination, Breach of Ethics and Dignity Clause." The airline had no idea the storm that was about to hit them. By morning, the world knew. The video, filmed by a witness, spread like wildfire. It showed the laughter, the clippers, the moment Amara froze. It showed her walking away in silent strength, leaving behind a room full of faces that suddenly looked less sure of themselves. The public reaction was immediate and brutal. Hashtags flooded social protests formed outside Skystream offices in London, Nairobi, and New York. Activists, journalists, and even politicians demanded accountability. The company attempted to control the narrative, claiming it was a misunderstanding and that the staff meant no harm, but the video told a different story. Behind closed doors, investors panicked. Amara's logistics firm had been Skystream's primary partner for international cargo. Without her, they couldn't operate key routes. Within 48 hours, her company pulled every contract. News outlets began uncovering other stories: employees who faced racism within the airline, passengers who had complained and been ignored. The story had unlocked something long buried, an overdue truth. And when Skystream's CEO called Amara personally to apologize, her response was measured and devastating. "You let them laugh," she said softly. "Now the world is laughing at you." Within a week, Skystream Airlines was under investigation for discrimination, harassment, and corporate misconduct. Their downfall had only begun. 2 months later, Skystream Airlines announced bankruptcy. Flights grounded, contracts voided, a billion-dollar empire, undone by arrogance and silence. The attendants involved were dismissed, but the story didn't end there. Regulators uncovered a pattern: complaints ignored, bias tolerated, and culture unchecked. The airline's image was shattered beyond repair. Amara didn't celebrate. Instead, she built something new. She launched the Dignity Initiative, a global foundation dedicated to eradicating racial humiliation in the workplace. It offered legal aid, corporate training, and platforms for unheard voices, her first public speech after millions viewed the scandal. She spoke calmly, with the same composure she had that day in the lounge. "Racism," she said, "doesn't always shout. Sometimes it laughs. It hides behind jokes, behind uniforms, behind company slogans. But when dignity is stripped in silence, the damage echoes louder than any apology." Her words became a rallying cry across industries. Airlines, banks, and corporations began reevaluating their policies. Her story became case study material in universities about ethics and leadership. And yet, beneath all the headlines and praise, Amara remained human, scarred but unbroken. The memory of that day stayed with her. The laughter, the buzz of the clippers. The moment the world saw what she had endured, she had turned humiliation into change, pain into progress. And maybe that's what true power is, not revenge, but the ability to rebuild what others tried to break. So the next time you witness injustice, will you laugh along, stay silent, or stand up? Where are you watching from? Comment on your country and city below.